Hi, this is Sanya Malhotra and you guys are watching Movie Moth.
Hi, I'm Ritesh Batra and you are watching Movie Moth. First I'll tell you about this film. It's releasing on the 15th of March in theatres. It's called Photograph and it stars the lovely Sanya Malhotra and Siddqui.
Okay, we'll talk first about Photograph. We can talk about Lunchbox a little later.
Great.
Hi, I'm Bhawana Somaaya and welcome to the Movie Moth show. Ritesh, it's absolutely a pleasure
Thank you for having
and
us.
a privilege to talk to you because I have loved your film Lunchbox, and I always wondered what made you make a film like this? How did you conceive this idea? I want to know the whole story.
Okay, about that film.
Yeah, the whole story, I know the story. I want to know how it came about.
Okay, I'll tell you the story, but first I'll tell you about this film. It's releasing on the 15th of March in theatres. It's called Photograph and it stars the lovely Sanya Malhotra and Siddqui.
Okay, we'll talk first about Photograph. We can talk about Lunchbox a little later.
Great.
So how did you think of casting this gorgeous girl? I think she's fabulous looking.
Thank you.
Okay, she's a really great actor. I saw her in Dangal and thank you. Nice touch. I saw her in Dangal, and then she read the script, and I was very lucky to find her for the part. She fits the part. She's great in the movie, and acting across from Nawaz, and she has her whole sort of internal life in the movie, and she's really great in the movie. And we needed somebody who could do a lot without words, so I think she fit the part.
Sanya, you remember meeting Ritesh for the first time? Had you seen his earlier film, Lunchbox?
I'm a huge fan of Lunchbox and his work. We met, I think, like Dangal got released and he called me up for this one. I read the script, he came to India and we met at a restaurant. Just a normal meeting. And I was really excited because the script was really good and I was hoping that he will take me. But I auditioned for it and I'm glad that I'm there in it.
And did he turn out, when you met him for coffee, what you had imagined him to be?
I think there was any imagination.
It didn't matter what he was.
No, because he's such a good
director.
It was my second film and it was very important for me to be working with great people and I'm so glad that I got to work with him because he's an amazing director.
So what did he ask you in that meeting? What was the conversation like?
Nothing. I don't remember actually because we shot this film when 2017?
Late December.
Yeah, in 2017.
17?
Yeah.
So what's happening? Why was it delayed for so long?
I was working on the edit for a year and the sound, and I finished working on it in about September, October last year, and then we premiered at Sundance in January, and then at Berlin, and now we are here.
And how has the reactions been?
They were really great. After the film screened at Sundance, we had a really nice Q&A, and then at Berlin, it was. Berlin is such a film lovers festival also, and it's a big crowd of 1,800 people feeling the movie through, together. So it's really interesting in both places, at Sundance and Berlin. That whole energy of the crowd, it changes the experience of the movie.
So I have seen your film Lunchbox, I've seen your short films, some of them. I am wondering what takes you so long to make a second film?
No, actually, I won't be offended, but I made, this is my fourth film.
Okay.
I made 2 English language films in the middle. One is the adaptation for Julian Barnes' novel called The Sense of an Ending, and the other is the movie that I made with Robert Redford and Jane Fonda for Netflix called Our Souls at Night.
I should have done my homework, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's because I've been pretty busy. I've been jumping from one movie to another. Because I spent so long trying to get Lunchbox made. So once I got a chance to start working, I kind of never stopped. I've always just been working constantly. Yeah, that's just how it goes. I'm always doing something.
So you said that you wanted Sanya because she's a good actor. But did you have any other actor in mind for her place?
Honestly, no, nobody in mind, but we had a lot of auditions for the part. So we had a lot of auditions for the part. So I feel like everybody who her age who's working came in and auditioned for the part. It is not an easy part to find the right fit for. But she just felt like very organic and very natural and just the right. Because I think it's very, in some ways, it's a movie about two people spending time together that wouldn't in real life. So Nawaz's character and her character would never, she plays a middle class girl and he plays a poor photographer from Bombay, from UP, who's in Gateway, and usually that transaction lasts 5 minutes, kitna hua bhaiya and chutta and done. But these people are supposed to spend time together for the whole movie. So when we were doing these auditions and stuff, I was always thinking about how is it going to be believable? Like these two, and it should actually feel like this is actually happening. So I was always looking for some kind of innate quality that, a person is very internal, a person is very, inside themselves. And I felt like in the audition she had that quality, and it shows in the film.
So Sanya, how does this audition happen? Do they tell you the scene beforehand, or you go there and they tell you?
Yeah, sometimes they do, and it depends. Like with some directors, they don't give you a scene or any dialogues, and you have to improvise. And but for this one, I had I think 2 scenes, and I prepared them, and then I go and audition.
And what were you feeling for the character?
To be honest, I'm very much like her, and that I got to know when I was shooting for the film. She's very introverted and at the same time reticent. She's in her own world, and I just love that about her. And it was very like, it was for me. I got to know that I am Meloni somewhere in my life. Obviously, she comes from a very different world. I come from a very different world. She is a CA topper. I can never be a CA topper. But yeah, I think it was quite relatable for me.
Have you done something like this in your life? Like you met some stranger and you had a conversation with him, or pursued an interaction, relationship?
I'm not a talker, but so what I do, like if I'm going somewhere and if I'm in a flight, I like talking to the person who's sitting with me. In that way, I know कि अभी 2 घंटे का flight है and I'll be done with the conversation, then we might not talk
or meet ever.
So that kind of conversations are good for me.
So Ritesh, it's very fascinating because you make a film with a thought, and then how it is perceived is also dependent on the audience. Like for me, Lunchbox is about the lunchbox and the relationship between the protagonists. But for me, it's also a story about 4 marriages or 3 marriages. So there were 3 parallel tracks running, and how each one works on their marriage and what happens. Did you expect the kind of overwhelming response you got for the film?
No, not really. No, did not expect it. No. To be honest, no. Didn't expect.
And was Nawaz your first choice for this one?
For photograph? Yeah, because Nawaz comes from a small village in UP, and so it would just make the job easier. And he fits the character so perfectly, and he has such an innate goodness about him. So he's, in many ways, he's playing himself in the movie, in this movie. And I think even in Lunchbox, he played a really nice guy.
Yeah.
And I felt that when I met him, that he was, somebody really nice, innately. So, yeah, just felt like...
I've seen the trailer and I find it very intriguing. I'm intrigued at what lies beneath than what you see in the scene.
Sure. No, sure. No.
And I like that old lady who's playing Nawaz's mother.
Yeah,
and they're having pani puri. So how did you cast her?
I've been aware of her. She played Rekha's mother in Imrao Jan.
Yes.
Yeah. So
when she sings the final song.
Yeah, I think so. I don't remember exactly, but I remember her. So I went and met her. She lives in Lucknow, and then she agreed to be part of it. She's a great presence. She brings a lot of. She's just playing herself also. She brings a nice energy to it, I think.
You have any more stories to tell me about the film, either of you, that we are not going to see on the screen and that I would be fascinated with while making this film during the shooting? Sanya, was any scene very tough and you were not getting it, or didn't know how to approach it, and Ritesh kind of held your hand and saw you through the tunnel?
I think for me, I'm really glad that I got to work with such amazing actors on this one. There's Gitanjali Kulkarni, there's Jim, Nawaz, Farooq ma'am. They're all amazing, and when you're acting with great actors, you're not acting, you're reacting to what they are saying. So I never felt that I was acting in a scene. It always felt like a conversation. It always felt like I'm having a conversation with my co-stars. So that made my job easy, and obviously he was there to help me out with my character and with all the scenes. I had a lot of fun, and in fact it took me a lot of time to take her out of my system after the shoot got over, and I feel that she's still there. She is still there somewhere in me.
But do all the characters stay inside you? Is the Badhayo girl
No,
is also
she's
there?
gone.
She's out. Gone.
She's out.
Maybe this is because it's the latest. She's still simmering and
Yeah, no. It was my second film. We shot, as I said, we shot
Yeah,
this in 2017.
but she's still there.
And so the last film I did was Pataka, and I was hoping that Siddqui kahin reh jaye, because she's so loud and spiteful. I would
Yeah.
love to be her, but
Yeah.
sadly.
But isn't it amazing that in such a short span you've done so many varied roles? The Fataka is so loud and this one is so inward. What did she give you when the film was over? What do you take away from her?
From Miloni, मैं तो उसको लेकर चल दी हूँ, मुझे लगता है सब कुछ. मतलब she's so though she's very like with a very calm exterior, she has like a lot of thoughts, and she's constantly like thinking about something. मतलब ऐसा लगता है कि she's not there but she's there. At the same time she's like swimming somewhere else. Like, a very complex person she is.
When you are behind the camera and the actors are performing, it often happens that they improvise and they project the scene in a different way than you may have visualized it. Are you happy with that, or does that disturb you?
I'm sorry, but I would like to say he's never behind the camera. He's with us in the scene. Yeah,
I don't
it's
sit
on
at the,
set.
I don't sit at the monitor.
Yeah.
I sit.
In the old school that I come from, everybody sat behind the camera. Now they sit behind the monitor.
No, he doesn't sit behind the monitor. He sits with us while we are like
performing.
I usually
Performing.
sit next to. I try to be as close to the lens as I can.
yeah.
I don't sit next to in front of the monitor as well.
And to answer my question,
Yeah, to answer your question, I think for me what's interesting is what happens between the lines. So that's more important. That everything that I have written, I don't care about that so much on set. So on set I feel like I know that the movie is going to kind of work when I'm not walking around with my script. So for me that's interesting, that what is behind each line, and I feel like if sometimes it's as simple as if you feel like there's obviously so many little tricks that you learn along the way, that telling somebody to just try to listen to the furthest sound they can, to just so there's something behind a line. But with these actors, that was that was hardly the case. There was always there was some intention, there's something behind every line, and it doesn't have to be the way I saw it in my head. It just has to be alive, It has to be alive, and it has to be going somewhere. It has to be taking us to the next beat of the story.
so after Lunchbox, there are high expectations from you, particularly from the critics, also from Sanya, because she has done quality work.
Yeah.
Whatever she has done, even in an ad, she is standing out. Are you guys prepared for that?
It's from this is my fourth movie, so What I feel.
This is my fourth movie too.
Yeah, I read that.
Yeah. Cool.
Cheers.
Is this your fourth interview?
No,
Oh, then you have to leave.
I'm interviewing for 40 years. I'm
40,
as old
okay.
as a hill.
That's fine because it's 40. We'll
It's 4.
take off the zero.
Yes.
No, but I don't know about expectations so much. It's not like I don't care about them. Of course I do. And there's certain critics that over the years that I have learned to, I get a lot out of reading what they write because they write from a very educated point of view about cinema. So I learn more about my movie or other movies through them. I think criticism is really an art, just like making movies is. Being able to see through something and see it for what it is, rather, is really an art form. So there's about 4 or 5 critics that I really respect and follow their work and hope that they follow mine. Not like I don't care about everybody else, but you have to engage with these things productively, with success, with criticism. Like after I made Lunchbox, because I had spent so long, like I don't know, 10, 11 years trying to get a movie made, trying to be a director, and trying to figure out how I'm going to support myself in that period, and because there's only so much you can ask of your family, Especially it's for both men and women, but in our culture also there's it's not kosher for a man to extend his hand all the time. It's, for a woman neither. It's now everybody is equal, and as they should be. But it was tough going. But what I learned from that is that, like, when Lunchbox came out, we had so many good reviews. I remember we got one bad review from the New Yorker, and I read it 100 times, and I was like, how can I get better next time? How can I make sure? But
Are you like that too? Mm-hmm. If you get a bad review, do you reflect and say that, did I go wrong somewhere? Or you think that critic is biased?
What I was saying is that nobody's biased. I think that the healthy way to engage with criticism is that it's not a sport. What we do is not a sport. So there's not like if we start running faster or improve our technique.
Nice.
Or improve our bowling action is something we can improve. It doesn't work that way. It really is just about where you are in your life and what you're feeling in that moment, and how you have brought that into your work.
Right.
And that's all there is to it. So after every film, I feel like, even after Lunchbox, even after the last movie I made, even after this movie and this movie, I feel like I have to forgive myself, forgive everybody else, and move to the next one. That's all I feel about it. That includes myself, critics, cast, crew, producers, everybody. And
sounds spiritual, huh?
No, it's not spiritual, it's just life.
So photograph and a photographer, how important they are in your life? Like, is this film conceived from a real story? Or just something you spotted at the Gateway of India?
Some characters are from real people that I know. But the photography thing just came about because when I was thinking of her character, I was thinking a lot about how she sees herself and how other people see her, and so him being a photographer is a function of that.
Okay.
That
it could have been any profession.
Yeah, but with photography it becomes more specific, that he could show her how he sees her.
Sanya, this is true for you. Otherwise, in real life, that how you see yourself and how others see you are different.
It is. I'm quite critical of my work, of myself. So मेरे साथ होता है बहुत बारी. And when it's a very stupid example, but if I'm posting a picture on social media, if somebody else has posted a picture of me on social media, and I'm like, I don't look nice, but other people like commenting nice things on it. So I feel yes, like you usually are very critical about yourself, about your looks, or in particular. Now I don't really care about it because I'm like, nobody can catch what I'm seeing. So
good. So in the end, what should the audience expect from this? What is the message?
If you're trying to give people a message, then you're already making a bad movie.
Okay.
You already lost.
So what should we expect?
I think people go into movies to be surprised and not to see, not to get what they want, but what they least expect. And you know, I feel like the best thing for me is when people take the movie home with them.
Good.
So if they take this movie home with them and think about it later, that would be nice.
And Sanya?
Copy paste.
Copy paste.